What is going on, traders? Sorry about the last video. I'm not sure what happened there. Um, my mic was plugged in, and all I had to do was unplug it and plug it back in, and now we have sound. I don't know what happened. All right, I'm sorry, but um, this is probably going to be a much shorter video. I'm going to try to condense everything I said in that failed video. So we're looking at the SPY, and here's my issue. I know someone's probably like, man, nothing satisfies this guy. But my issue still remains with semiconductors. And we talked about this in the last two videos where semiconductors, let's look at NVIDIA, right? Where semiconductors keep giving these moves back. They pump towards the upside and then they just break back below resistance. SMH, you see the same thing. You pump towards the upside, and it's crazy because someone in the Discord asked me, "Hey, should I take profit on SMH?" This is while SMH was at 230, and I said, "Brother, you need to take profit." And boom, you break back below resistance at 227. SOXX, same thing. You break towards the upside towards 206, and then you give it all back, and you're right back below 205. So you keep seeing this, and this is exactly what happened the day before, or I believe it was yesterday, yeah, where we talked about this in the last video, where Nvidia pre-market, I believe it was 2 days ago, right? Yeah, Monday, where you pumped all the way to 123 pre-market and then you gave it all back. And this was happening while SPY was pumping towards the upside and triple Qs was pumping towards the upside. And so I'm not saying we're going to sell off tomorrow or anything like that, but it's very reminiscent on what we just saw in the past 2 days. It's also important to note that historically, the first move during Jerome Powell's speech is usually the wrong move. And what I mean by that is if the market is pumping while Jerome Powell is speaking, typically the next day or so you see an opposite effect, a Uno reverse, where the market does the complete opposite. So sell off or, goes to the upside depending on the original move during his speech. So it's not guaranteed to happen. It doesn't have to always happen. It's just something to keep in mind, and just don't be surprised if it does happen tomorrow. But when we're looking at the SPY here, we do have a gap towards 575, and once again, we're above 564. As long as we stay above 564, the floodgates open to 573, 575, where the 200 MA is and where this gap fill is. Now, we are looking at a rising wedge, and it doesn't necessarily mean we have to like drop from here. We can easily just keep doing this where we just bounce back and forth until we fill the gap and then maybe see some type of sell off. So I do imagine that we're going to keep swinging back and forth. So I encourage to take profit when you can. Even me, like now I have to change my strategy up and just like drop my 40% taking profit because I usually take profit or I alert Discord members to take profit or always take profit at 40% just to instill some type of discipline. But now it's like you have to drop to 20% because we keep seeing these wild moves back and forth where you make a move in one direction and then you give like 50% of that move, if not the whole move, back just based off news we keep getting, whether it's tariffs or Jerome Powell or whatever the case may be. We keep giving a lot of this stuff, these movements, whether to the upside or to the downside, back. So I encourage to take profit when you can. That's just me. Do what you want. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at when it comes to the SPY. You get back below 564, again, the floodgates open to 550 and 540. So I do imagine it's going to be a pretty annoying market for the next few days, if not the next few weeks. So just really be careful, okay? I'm not here to, I'm not trying to fearmonger or anything like that. Again, historically, you do see the opposite effect after Jerome Powell's speech. We'll have to wait and see. But as long as we stay above 564, you are looking okay to see a move towards the 200 MA at around this gap fill at 575. Now, when we look at the weekly time frame here, you do have a double top. Let me make sure the mic is still going. Okay, we still got sound. So let me close the Discord. So on a weekly time frame on the SPY, you do have a double top, and crazy enough, the neckline is right where that gap fill is at around 575. So if the SPY does continue to pump, I do imagine that's where you're going to head. Highs you could be looking at, is around 585, 584. But ultimately, I don't think you're going to see much higher than that. I could be wrong, but I just don't see it right now. But right now, I'm looking at the 200 MA at around 575 if we continue to pump, and 584, 585 if we are being optimistic towards the upside. But once again, like I said before, you really want to be cautious considering what semiconductors are doing because we saw the exact same thing happen yesterday and the day before, guys. Okay, so be careful. You look at triple Qs. same thing. You're looking at a rising wedge pattern on a smaller time frame. I don't know why I'm on a 3 hour time frame, but yeah, triple Qs, you got the same thing. You have a gap fill all the way at 491. So we got plenty of space. So we can easily see a move like this maybe tomorrow, and then from there, really tough for me to see more upside. But if we do continue to see upside, I would imagine 499, 500 is our next target before we see another sell off towards the downside. I still don't think the bottom is in. I still stand by that. Do what you want with that information. As long as you stay above 480, you can see a move towards 490. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for the triple Qs. When it comes to downside, you get back below 480, you open the floodgates all over again to 468. Between 468 460, lowest we could be looking at is 450. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for the triple Qs. Now, semiconductors. I mean, you just keep doing this, right? You just keep giving this move back. And that's why I'm encouraging that we might need to just take profit when we can. Because semiconductors keep, every time the SPY and triple Qs pumps to the upside, semiconductors drag it back down, right? So we are seeing some type of life where bulls are trying to step in. But again, bears just keep bringing semiconductors back down, or at least Nvidia back down. Now you can argue that you are looking at a head and shoulders pattern here. Is very much possible. You have a shoulder here, head here, another shoulder here, right? And then your neckline will be something like this at around, I would argue, around 113, right? Because that is an important level, and so we'll have to wait and see what happens from there. But you can easily do some move like this and then break down, right? And then that would obviously drag the market down. But ultimately, if we want to be bullish on Nvidia, right, you want to see us get above 121. 120 is your psych level, but 121 is the ultimate level that you want to see, because you have this massive, let's get rid of this, you have this massive bearish wick here, right? And the daily time frame did form a doji, so that just shows that the market is indecisive about Nvidia right now. So tomorrow, we can see a pump towards the upside. But again, I mean, it's hard for me to be bullish or really be strong or lean bullish, right, while semiconductors are doing this. So you guys let me know what you think about it in the comments below. But like I said, we've seen this happen the past day or so, right? So it can easily happen again. We'll have to wait and see. SMH, right? It's crazy. Again, someone was in the Discord was talking about SMH and shit. They hold their calls until the next day, and I'm like, brother, take profit. You're up 100%. What are you doing? And boom, like maybe 30 minutes after that conversation, SMH tanks below resistance all over again. So pretty annoying, pretty annoying watching semiconductors just do this, right? Obviously, you want to see some type of real direction when it comes to Nvidia, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. I imagine if you're a perma bull, you obviously want to see upside. You're a perma bear, you want to see downside, or if you're neutral, you just want to see anything, right? So pretty annoying, I will say. Now let's look at quant data real quick. So um, about 10 minutes before close, you did have triple Qs or institutions load up puts on triple Qs. The date is here. I go over this all the time, and some of you are still like confused on how this works, like, or what to look at here. So this is the date, this is the time, 3:51 Eastern, guys. Triple Qs is the obviously the ETF, March 28th, 2025, 470 puts, very reasonable strike here. It's very possible triple Qs can head to 470, if not lower. They were loaded up at 481.24, right? Quantity is the amount of contracts they have, and then they were at the above the ask, and then you have the premium here. And then you guys see that it's pretty consistent, 470, 470, 470. Some of you have this idea that I'm only pointing out like bearish spikes and things like that. I'm not. The issue with these bullish spikes is that they're not consistent. They're just a bunch of random dates a lot of times. So that's why I don't show everything, because a lot of this stuff is either irrelevant to me or it doesn't tell me anything, right? So you have all these contracts for calls, right? But what are you getting out of this? March 19th, May 30th, May 16th, March 21st. When I'm looking at options chain, I want some type of consistency. Something, something like this, right? Not this. What was that spike? Right here. Something like this. You want some type of consistency, 470, 470, and then you want like massive premiums, right? You want those 1 million, 200K premiums, and then you want to see various institutions in the same play, obviously, or exchanges, whatever, institution slash exchanges, right? You want to see multiple of these guys in the same play, if not some type of consistency or maybe some high premiums. Regardless, that's what I want to see when I'm looking at the options chain. Now what you choose to see is up to you, right? But it's not me trying to hide calls from you guys. It's just you don't get nothing out of a lot of these bullish spikes, right? June 20th, 2025. What am I going to do with this? You know, I could play this. It can very well play out. But for me, I'm looking at March and April. I want to get into plays that's for March and April, unless I'm looking at leap plays, right? April 4th, March 25th, you know, it's just a bunch of random dates, you know. So again, I want to see consistency. So right here, once again, it seems like institutions are expecting a move back towards 470 before March 28th. We'll have to wait and see. We look at the SPY, same thing. I believe there was another spike for the SPY around close or after close, I want to say. Let's actually, hopefully I click on the right one first. Nope, did not do that. But sometime after close. So yeah, again, you just want to see either huge premiums or you want to see some type of consistency. So March 19th, this was loaded up at 5 minutes after close. You can trade the SPY 15 minutes after close, guys, in case you don't know. April 17th, 2025, 539. Even with this, it's a big premium, but if I can't see the SPY heading that far, I'm not gonna pay attention to it. I'm gonna take it seriously, but I'm not going to like keep this like go crazy about this. April 17th. So you notice a lot of these put expirations are for April, and ironic enough, the April is the month where tariffs are supposed to be imposed all over again. So we'll have to wait and see. And then you have the premiums of 9.67 million. So pretty massive premiums. And then let's see what else we got here. More SPY puts, 560 puts, a little consistency here. But yeah, that's what I want to see, right? We can click on a bullish spike, and I mean, you just got a bunch of randomness. You know, you got 570 calls, and did we get above 570? I think we did get above 570, but but you have a mixture of puts as well. So this just shows me that they're just hedging all in this area. So you know, they obviously made profit, but it's not me trying to hide calls or anything like that. It's just if I go over every single thing, it's gonna make you guys overthink, right? And I guess that's your problem, but at the same time, it's just like you have access to this information. You're able to buy quant data whenever you want. If you think I'm hiding stuff from you guys or trying to hold some type of bias, but most of the premiums are going to puts like a good portion. I mean, even up here, you guys see it 200, not 200, 296 million in put premium, and then you have 234 million. I had it right the first time. I don't know why I changed, but regardless, you have more put premiums than call premiums, right? So obviously the sentiment is bearish right now. Now, can they get squeezed and all that fun stuff? Sure. But until we see that happen, which probably is going to happen, um, I'm going to focus on the bearish side, right? That's just me, right? And I told you guys, like in the last video, it's really hard for me to be bullish until we get above the 200 in May. Can we fill the gap at 275? Absolutely. But right now, it's just really hard to trust any upside while semiconductors continue to just pull this bull crap over and over. Another stock I want to look at on quant data is Tesla. I gave you guys 225. I told you guys institutions were loading 225 puts on Tesla, right? And they did it again. Oh man, hopefully I find it. Please let me find it. I think it's right here. Yeah, here we go. So they loaded up 210 puts for Tesla March 19th, 2025. As you guys can see, they're against the tape. April 11th is the expiration. 210 is the strike right here. Puts, they were loaded up at 234.87 quantity, and then you got them at the ask. That means they bought them. And then the premium 1.6 million, 500k, 500k, pretty decent premium. Last time I gave you guys Tesla puts, they absolutely cashed out. So you want to look out for this move. Obviously, get your own confirmation, do your own research. Just don't blindly follow this stuff. I see some of you in the comments like, I'm just gonna do that, and I'm just like, you might want to get some confirmation, because you come back here and you start getting mad at me because these failed. Right, so you want to get some type of confirmation, whether it's fundamentals, news, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure this has a possibility of playing out, right? That's what I do, right? I make sure that it makes sense when I'm jumping into a play. So something interesting to look at. Let's actually look at some of these bullish spikes real quick. Um, I mean, yeah, see, just a bunch of random stuff. Like January 15, 2027, you're going to see a lot of these type of plays and these bullish spikes. 2027 is freaking 2 years from now. What am I going to do with this information? You know, so that's what I'm talking about. So I'm not trying to hide any type of bullish sentiment from you guys. It's just a lot of these are just don't give you anything. And then you got puts in here as well. It's just a bunch of randomness. So that's just my thought process. You guys let me know what you think about it in the comments below. But yeah, overall, that's what I'm looking at in the market. I think is the conclusion here is just to take profit when you can. Even me, I have to drop my percentages to 40 to 20% at this point because I have to change because you keep seeing these wild swings back and forth in either direction where you pump towards the upside, you give it all back, or if not all of it, 50% of it back, or you pump towards the downside or dump towards the downside, I should say, and then you give it all back. You keep seeing these wild swings in every direction just because our president is on a rampage, or FOMC, whatever news we get, you just keep seeing these wild swings back and forth. So definitely want to take profit in this type of environment, guys. You guys let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Also, what do you think about semiconductors? Do you think it's a delay, right? Or do you think this is a sign of another drop to come? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And until the next video, traders, have a good one.